Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today we are comparing action cameras. That's right. But it's not going to be a boring video where we just go through specs and that sort of thing. I'm just going to show 4 clips, and we're going to try to pick a winner. So let's introduce the contenders here. The XTU Max 4K model, the Insta360 1RS, the Akaso Brave 8, and then I also threw in my own GoPro Hero 10 that I usually record on. And here's the deal. I just want to find the best bang for your buck action camera. So what I did is I took those 4 cameras, I put them on the same exact settings on the same exact day, mounted the same exact way on my bike, and then I sent those 4 clips to my editor. He put them in a random order, sent them back to me. Let's go through those 4 clips now together, and let's try to pick a winner. Okay, camera number 1, here we go. This looks good to me, honestly. The audio sounds great. I could just hear that car pass. I can hear this other car passing. It is very wide. It is very stabilized, and it's not overly saturated. It's not overly sharpened. The colors look natural. This looks like a GoPro to me. I'm going to stick my neck out there and say camera number 1 is the GoPro. But in any case, this is great footage. I'd be surprised if it wasn't one of the higher-end cameras. Yikes. Okay, so immediately the audio takes a hit. You can tell, camera number 2. The stabilization is not good either. It is not as wide. That's not good. And then finally, it is just really weirdly overly sharpened and overly saturated. It looks kind of artificial. Not a fan of this footage. Camera number 3, that's a little better. I don't think it's quite as wide as as camera number 1. And also they've applied some pretty heavy sharpening and saturation, even though I didn't tell it to do that. So this is certainly better than number 2. The audio has improved quite a bit. Not on the level of number 1, but I'm liking this footage. This is not so bad. Oh man, yikes. I can barely hear myself think on camera number 4. The audio is trash. So on a camera like this, you just have to get rid of the audio altogether. But it has some redeeming qualities because we're back to that really wide field of view, which is great for crit racing and bike racing in general. It's not overly saturated. There is some contrast applied. And yeah, the stabilization is good, but not great. I want to take another look at these. I want to go back to the first one. And I want to rank these. So if we go back to the beginning here, yeah, camera number 1, I think it wins in every single respect. I mean, it has the best stabilization. I like the colors and the contrast the most. It's wide, it's stable. I'm going to rank camera number 1 as in first position. Camera number 2 does not have a lot of redeeming qualities here. I mean, it's not awful, but yeah, actually it's awful. I take that back. I do not like camera number 2. So moving on to 3. For me, it's kind of a toss-up between 3 and 4 for the second spot. You know what? I'm gonna say camera number 4, just because I like that it's wide, and I can just do away with the audio. That's fine. We don't need audio for racing. If audio is important to you in whatever else you're using this camera for, do not buy camera number 4. That is a deal breaker. So I would rank them like this right here. Camera number 1 clearly takes the top spot. I would say camera number 4 is in second place by a thin margin over camera number 3. And then in last place, camera number 2. Okay, and now for the reveal. Let's start at the bottom and work our way up. So I ranked camera number 2 the worst. What is camera number 2? That is the $279 Akaso Brave 8. Unfortunately, it just didn't look very good. It didn't sound very good, and it was just kind of unimpressive across the board. Sorry, Akaso. Moving on to the third spot. That is camera number 3. This is a surprise. This is the Insta360 1RS. It's a $300 camera, and it just didn't impress, honestly, especially when you compare it directly to the GoPro. It just wasn't very good. I'd expect more from a $300 camera, to be honest. But let's move on to the camera that took the number 2 spot. Silver medal here. Camera number 4 is surprisingly the XTU Max. At $149, I got it in the number 2 spot. That's pretty surprising because this thing is only $149, and real quick caveat, there's a couple of reasons why you might not still want to buy this, even though it's cheap. The audio is abysmal. It is, like, awful. You cannot use this camera if you want to use the audio on a bike. And then also, I don't think it's waterproof without this ridiculously chonky case, but the video quality is actually decent. It's wide, the stabilization's decent, the color is decent, so that's why it takes silver medal. That leaves only one camera for the top spot, and that, of course, is the GoPro Hero 10 Black, coming in at $350. The stabilization is second to none with GoPros. It gets super wide, and then the footage straight out of the camera, it's kind of flat, but there's a lot to work with. So in the post-processing that I do, all I do is add back a little bit of sharpening, a little bit of contrast, maybe a little bit of saturation, and then it just looks so good. It's what I use for all the videos on my channel now, and I'll continue using it. Hopefully this informs your purchasing decision a little bit. And as always, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.